Hey guys, Jared, Transformational Coaching. Action is transformation. In this video, we're going to get into how do you know if your relationship is going to end. Now, these are just some signs. It doesn't mean that the relationship is actually going to end. That title is just for dramatic effect. It simply just means that there's some things that you might want to look out for and be aware of so you can start placing proper measures or behaviors in place so your relationship doesn't end. These are things that I wish I was aware of in the past, because if I had been, then I would have been able to start seeing the signs earlier. And anytime that we can see signs earlier of something, we can prevent the worst from happening, which in this case would be breakup. Now, sometimes breakup is necessary and it can actually be the best thing, but other times it's not, and it's not even necessary. When I look back at some of my relationships, I see where I went wrong. I see what I could have done better. And that was sad to admit to myself, but sometimes we just don't know any better and we can have compassion for those past selves. So what are some of the signs that the relationship is going south, and how can we put it back to going north if that's what's best? Number one, each person sees their marriage problems as very severe to the point where they can't even fix or they can't even repair them. Anytime that we start to feel hopelessness comes from trying everything or trying so many different things and not having the results that we wanted. Hopelessness is an emotion that kills any chance of actually getting something to a point where it's sustainable or secure. Now, the great thing about hopelessness is a lot of times it's an irrelevant emotion. We actually don't need to feel it. It's just that we haven't been given the right tools, or we haven't taken the time to learn or master what it is that we need to learn or master. Like, anytime that I feel hopeless in my life, I think, okay, there's a solution here. What's the solution? And it's out there. I can find it. It's really that simple. So if you're starting to feel hopeless in the relationship and your partner's starting to feel hopeless in the relationship, and you both perceive it to be at this state where it's really severe and you feel like it's going to fall apart at any moment, you can slow down and ask yourself, well, why am I feeling hopeless, and what's the solution here? Because there's a solution to everything. The great thing about the world we live in, because we have technology, we have access to information, anything that you want, you can find an answer to if you're willing. And so if you feel that sense of hopelessness, ask yourself, well, there's hopelessness, but there's also solutions. And when I find solutions, that means that there's still hope to better the relationship. So if you're feeling like there's a sense of hopelessness, know that there is a solution out there. There are people who've been in a similar space, and you can get past it. It's just whether you're willing to see the relationship or see the situation as hopeful and find those solutions. Number two, when you start perceiving the arguments in the relationship as useless, as not even talking things over, and you just want to figure things out on your own. What it means to be in a relationship is you're in relation with one another, and you make decisions together, you address life together. It's what it means to be in a relationship. And so when it comes to being with your partner, if you're not sharing the struggles with them, or if you're not sharing the challenges, or you both are seeing it as just useless, we're just going to move forward, we're going to live, you'll be over here, I'll be over here, and we're not even going to communicate or interact with each other as a team, that's a really bad sign that there's a disconnect and that the relationship will eventually disintegrate if it hasn't already. Part of being in a relationship is taking things together in stride. I am with you, you are with me, let's do this together. That sense of spirit and team is so key to having a sustainable relationship. In the military, we talk about, especially in the Marine Corps, we talk about esprit de corps, and esprit de corps is spirit of the team, spirit of unity. And if that spirit of unity isn't in the relationship, then chances are there's a disconnect, or the relationship's already headed south, and you want to start asking yourselves the questions, how can I start creating the relationship so that we feel a sense of unity and feel like we're moving together in the same direction. It's that moving together in the same direction and headed towards something that keeps the relationship strong, that keeps it enlivened and energetic. We're moving together towards something. it's really important to have that sense of unity. If that sense of unity isn't in the relationship, then what's going to happen is it's going to start disintegrate and falling apart and eventually get to a point where it's no longer existence. Having that esprit de corps, or that sense of unity, is something that's key to creating that success. Number 3, the couple leads parallel lives. What do I mean by leading parallel lives? You may be living together. You may be living life together. You may be in the same physical location, but you're doing your own thing and there's no coming together. If you're doing your own thing on a daily basis and you're living lives, but you're never crossing into each other's lanes, you're not in relationship. Leading parallel lives looks like this. There's you and there's them, and you're both going forward side by side, but you're not interweaving like this. We want to be interweaving. It's like, hey, you had this type of day, cool, I had this type of day, and then you come together and you go separate, and then you come together again, then you go separate. It's this dance, that's this interplay. If that interplay isn't there, then what's happening is you're not connecting. Part of a relationship is connection, and so make sure that there's some sort of interweaving, going back and forth. Give space when you need space, come together when you need to come together. It's doing it in a healthy way that allows us to eventually move forward into it allows us to move forward and live in a healthy relationship. I mean, that's what a relationship is. It's intertwining our lives, intertwining your life with another human being. So if you're just leading parallel lives and you're staying in your own lane, I'm here, you're over here, the relationship will naturally fall apart. There is no relationship. You may be living next to each other, but you're not living with each other. So ask yourself, is there really interplay in my relationship, or am I just living a parallel life side by side with this other human being? Finally, number 4, loneliness sets in. If loneliness is setting in your relationship, it's because you're either not opening up emotionally to your partner, or they're not opening up emotionally to you, or they don't have the capability to share their emotions or open up to you. The worst feeling is being in a relationship with someone but feeling alone. I can remember times in my life where I was right next to someone and I felt lonely, and it was horrible. It was like, why would I be in a relationship to feeling alone? There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. I spend a lot of time alone, but I'm not actually feeling lonely. I'm in solitude. Solitude is amazing. I love solitude. It's time alone with myself, time in cherishing myself, respecting myself, loving myself. That's important. But if you're in a relationship and you have a sense of loneliness, well, then chances are you're not emotionally connected to your partner. Anytime in my life, if I start overworking or I start doing too much and I start feeling a sense of loneliness from within, I know that I need to spend more time with myself. I need to be in solitude and fill myself up. And most of us don't know how to do this. So anytime that you feel loneliness set into a relationship, you have to ask yourself, what emotional connection am I missing or lacking? Is this person opening up to me fully? Am I opening up to them? A sense of loneliness comes from not being emotionally connected. So you can be with 2, 3, 4 people. I've coached polyamorous individuals who get needs met from different people because they can't get it all met from one person. They could if they wanted to. They just don't look for it, or they're just not open to it, or they don't want to wait or be patient. But I've coached polyamorous individuals, and sometimes they tell me that they feel this sense of loneliness and emptiness. And so I ask them, I say, well, where are your emotional needs not being met? And can you meet them for yourself, or is your partner not meeting them? And if they're not meeting them, how can you communicate to them that those emotional needs to be met? So it's really important that anytime we're feeling this sense of loneliness, to ask ourselves, emotionally, is our partner showing up in the way that we want them to show up? And are we showing up for ourselves? Anytime that I felt lonely in my life, that was a key sign to slow down, be gentle with myself, and fill up myself emotionally, spend time in solitude, and then go back out there in the world and do really awesome, cool, amazing things. Guys, if any of these signs apply to you, I just want to let you know that not all hope is lost. Remember, respect and admiration and cherishment is something that allows relationships to be sustainable. So if you respect and admire your partner, and you have a sense of admiration for them and a sense of fondness for them, you can still cultivate a healthy relationship. Now, sometimes couples have come to me in the past and they've shared with me that they're really struggling. And then I ask them to start thinking about why they got into the relationship in the first place. And all of a sudden this beautiful sense of fondness comes up, and they start remembering all these amazing times they had together. And I ask them, I say, how can we cultivate and bring this emotion back into the relationship? Because if this emotion, this fondness, this sense of respect and admiration for your significant other, if that comes back into the relationship, you're going to see that the relationship will naturally take its own course, and it'll feel great again. Ultimately, we get into relationships because they make us feel good. So if we're making individuals feel good, the relationship is going to be successful. It can't not be, because we're feeling good. That's every human being moves towards what makes them feel good, whether it's a drug or whether it's love or whether it's another person that they're in love with. So if you feel like the relationship has gone sour, there's still hope. Just ask yourself, how can I bring back that sense of fondness, admiration, and respect that I had when I first experienced the relationship with this person? And if that was never there, then that might be signs that you need to move on to a relationship where you can cultivate that. That's all I have for this time. Thanks for joining me, you guys. If you've liked what you've seen here, please share with any family or friends. I want this work to go out into the world and impact more people's lives. Also, I'd love for you to sign up for the Sacred Relationship series if you haven't already. We're doing this awesome series where we're interviewing relationship coaches. We're doing live coaching. I'm really enjoying it, and I know a lot of other people are. We'd be delighted to have you be a part of that. And if you want to, please sign up for live coaching if you're having any challenges that you're feeling like are coming up for you in the link below. That's all I got for this time. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon.